Is the world on the brink of a new Cold War, this time between China and Taiwan? Welcome to our discussion on the escalating tensions in the Taiwan Strait, a topic that has dominated headlines and sparked global concern. The current state of affairs between these two entities is rife with complexities and challenges. In recent times, the long-standing political understandings that have maintained peace in the region are unraveling. We are witnessing an intersection of China's growing power, US-China competition, and the evolution of a distinct Taiwanese identity. China's expanding influence and military prowess have become more apparent, with an increase in their military operations around Taiwan. Beijing perceives Taiwan's return as a core objective, an ideal steeped in historical and nationalistic sentiments. On the other hand, Taiwan's public and political leadership remains skeptical of China's intentions, fueling further discord. Simultaneously, the United States, a key player in this geopolitical chess game, has been deepening ties with Taiwan. This move has strained relations between Washington and Beijing, causing a shift in the delicate balance of power in the region. The risk of conflict is rising, with China's approach to Taiwan being characterized by coercion. This strategy puts Taiwan at risk of unintended conflict, as the risk of forced unification by China has increased. However, a full-scale amphibious invasion remains unlikely in the near term. Across the globe, leaders and policymakers are grappling with these developments. The situation is further complicated by the fact that China has been studying other countries' special operations forces to enhance their own military strategies. Their focus has been on the Falklands War and the US invasion of Grenada, learning from the significant contributions made by special operations forces in these conflicts. To summarize, we find ourselves in a precarious situation. The tensions between China and Taiwan are escalating, fueled by China's growing power, US-China competition, and the development of a unique Taiwanese identity. The US's increasing support for Taiwan and China's increased military operations around the island have strained relations, while China's use of coercion puts Taiwan at risk. In these turbulent times, the need for diplomatic dialogue and understanding is paramount. Measures such as China reducing coercion of Taiwan, the US clarifying its One China policy, and Taiwan strengthening its defense could go a long way in managing this risk. Slowing the escalation of tensions will require efforts to rebuild trust and uphold the existing understandings. The United States has a significant role in this geopolitical drama. Historically, the US has maintained a delicate balance in its relations with both China and Taiwan. On one hand, it acknowledges the One China policy, a diplomatic acknowledgement that there is only one China that includes Taiwan. On the other hand, it has continued to support Taiwan militarily and economically, a commitment outlined in the Taiwan Relations Act of 1979. Today, the US's stance on the China-Taiwan tension seems to be shifting. Recently, it has taken a more assertive role in support of Taiwan, with increased arms sales and diplomatic contacts. This change in posture is seen as a response to China's growing assertiveness in the region. However, it's a delicate balancing act, as too much support for Taiwan could provoke China, while too little could leave Taiwan vulnerable. The implications of the US's actions and policies are substantial. They could significantly influence the course of the China-Taiwan tension. If the US can maintain a careful balance, it could help keep the peace. But any misstep could tip the scale towards conflict. The US's actions and policies could significantly influence the course of the China-Taiwan tension. It's a high-stakes game of geopolitical chess, where the next move could be critical. The world watches with bated breath as this geopolitical drama unfolds. We can only hope that wisdom, diplomacy, and the desire for peace will guide the actions of those at the helm. Stay informed, stay aware, and remember, the actions of today shape the world of tomorrow. A voiceover. As we continue to observe this geopolitical drama, it's important to understand the intricate roles of the United States and the Philippines. The delicate balance of US relations with China, Taiwan, and the Philippines is akin to a tightrope walk over a chasm of potential conflict. The US, a long-standing ally of Taiwan, has always been vocal in its support for the island nation. Simultaneously, it maintains cordial relations with China, a delicate balance that's increasingly challenging to maintain. The Philippines, geographically proximate and a historic ally of the US, could potentially play a pivotal role if a conflict arises. Its strategic location makes it a significant player in the region. The Philippines' actions, driven by its national interests and influenced by its relationships with both China and the US, could have substantial implications. A shift in alliance, a change in policy, or even a diplomatic statement could add a new dimension to this already complex issue. The stakes are high, with the actions of the United States and the Philippines potentially shaping a future that could either be marked by peace and cooperation, or marred by conflict and tension. As the world watches, these nations tread carefully, fully aware that any misstep could disrupt the precarious balance, leading to consequences far beyond their shores. Voiceover. The United States and the Philippines cast long shadows in this burgeoning cauldron of tension. These nations are not mere bystanders but rather, the grandmasters poised to manipulate this intricate geopolitical chessboard. The US, wielding a hefty cudgel of military prowess and global clout, stands at a precipice, where its next steps could ignite a series of cataclysmic reactions. From diplomatic parleys to thunderous show-of-force demonstrations, each choice brings with it a ripple effect of consequences. Meanwhile, the Philippines, a stone's throw away from the potential conflict hotbed and bound by the chains of history to the US, stands teetering on the edge. It could morph into a formidable ally or a diplomatic conduit altering the simmering cauldron of the Taiwan Strait. Will it tighten its embrace with the US, seek the calm waters of neutrality, or risk a daring pivot towards China? Such seismic decisions could send shockwaves through the balance of power. Nevertheless, this is no ordinary game of chess. It's a deadly dance on a tightrope strung across a chasm of uncertainty, each move a potential misstep into the abyss. The urgency for thoughtful diplomacy and meticulous strategy is deafening. A careless stumble or a hasty leap could set off a domino effect, plunging us into a future feared by all. Thus, the world sits on the edge of its seat, eyes riveted on the US, and each play they make, each pact they seal, and every policy they enact could be the feather that tips the delicate scales of power. Will they douse the flames or pour fuel on the fire? This isn't just diplomacy, it's a high-octane, nerve-wracking game of global poker where the chips are nations, each with their own vested interests, alliances, and game plans.